just because a syllogism follows doesn't mean it's correct, though, by virtue of following, right?
If I make an argument, what I'm saying is, if I make the argument, I've already tested if it's sound, right? Or I know it's. Well, we all know how to make it valid. We all know how to make
it. It isn't necessarily true, then, right? That's all I'm pointing out.
Well,
are you really using ChatGPT for this topic? ChatGPT, when it comes to flat Earth, is fucking cooked, bro. It will straight lie to you. Like straight notes. It said, yes, numerous laser tests have proved curvature, like the laser test that Lake Balaton measured the surface of the Earth that showed it was curved. That was the opposite of the result they got. It just straight lied to me.
Yeah, I think that it helps with, if you remove all the sort of like synthetic stuff about it and say, like, look, I'm not talking about gravity, I'm not talking about flat earther that happens to exactly believe in the AE model or anything like that. I just want some purely logical critique of my argument. Where could you sort of find your way out of my argument? What kind of loops can you get? And I force it to pick something, right? So that I know, at least when I go to argue the flat earth with a flat earther in a debate, that I know I can expect what they might say, right? And that's very useful.
See, the thing is I don't think it requires analytical refutation of any type, right? Because for it to be true that the Earth is flat, that would mean that SpaceX is in on it. That would mean that all the space agencies are in on it. All the private industry that launch satellites are in on it. Like, it just entails a grand conspiracy, which I just don't think is feasible.
Nonsense, dude. That is utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense.
Non-fucking sense.
But have you talked to anybody that works? Hold on. Have you talked to anybody that works as like a satellite company doing any of that shit? Have you talked to any of the people? I have. They don't know anything.
You don't sound like you have.
They literally don't know anything, dude.
To be fair, Indio, though, when you say it's nonsense,
but they have to lie, but they don't know anything. They go to their job, the job says, here's a fucking schematic, make this fucking widget. And that's what they do. They don't know anything. Oh, they put this widget in the fucking satellite, they launch it into space. They don't know any of that crap.
But to be fair, Indio, when you say that, I mean, that is true. Probably a lot of them have a small part to play and probably don't know what's going on.
It's all super compartmentalized, dude.
When I hear the phrase "they're lying," right? If sometimes people will say they meaning the government, they mean the people who control the government, they meaning this conglomeration of people, including astronauts and so on and so forth and I don't even know if a flat earther knows who they're referring to when they say they.
I don't say they. I actually ask who's they. Let's be specific. Who is they? Who must? This is the question I ask when they say, why would they all lie? Okay, who is required to be in on the conspiracy? Not like maybe the freaking janitor at SpaceX. He's in on the conspiracy. He works at SpaceX. No, not that guy. Who's required? Who must know? Now, you got to say, what is it required to be lying, right? So, what is lying? Intentional deception. You know the truth, and you intentionally deceive. So, A, they have to know the Earth is flat. B, they have to say something that's different. Now, who's that? Who's that group of people? That group of people is going to be pretty fucking small. People that claim the Earth's the globe from personal experience. Those people are lying. So that's the 27 astronauts, right? 27 Apollo people. People in the ISS, they wouldn't know. They don't go high enough. If you don't believe me, ask Chris Hatfield.
The reason why this is a problem, Indio, I think, is that...
but that's the thing. Even if you say, this group, they lied, they wouldn't lie, that's a sociological, subjective opinion. Doesn't fucking mean anything. It literally, you can't prove the surface of the Earth with human sociology.
Well, that's true, but there is... Because there's always...
Okay, I'll give you a conjecture. With signed confessions, everybody that's in on the live, they all signed confessions. Would that prove the Earth is flat?
No, but it would definitely...
Okay, then there's a pointless question. It's a pointless inquiry.
Hold on.
Even if we knew and we had to admit it, it wouldn't do anything.
There is a point to the inquiry, and I think that if it is completely not feasible that someone could lie in this particular way, or whoever it is, however we imagine it would happen, then it could just be the case that whatever reason that got you into flat Earth was flawed somehow, right? I mean, it could happen. It could happen that way around as well, you know.
It's a psychological need to feel privy to special knowledge.
Oh, that's stupid.
I mean, there is evidence.
This is typical fucking politics server bullshit. Sociological nonsense, dude. Now you're a fucking psychic. You know what flat earthers think.
Oh, no,
we're going to not talk about you, the other idiot. So we can know what the shape of the Earth is if we fucking think about what human beings would do. It's fucking so stupid. Like, I'm sorry, dude, but just even think about this topic in the terms of social psychological behaviors of human beings. It's so silly to me.
Do you admit you do like the idea of being privy to special knowledge that the rest of us
No, dude, no. You don't know me. You don't know how I think. Stop fucking speculating, dude. You're not a psychologist and you don't play one on TV.
See, I'm a political scientist, right? And I think that because of that, I do think there is a lot to be answered for in that realm of the debate, right? Like, what are
You're working on a
but
graduate.
nobody wants to talk about it because it's so. It feels abstract, but it really isn't. Right? We can grasp onto that question of who's lying and why. Right? There's something to be had there.
Well, we want to know too. So when you guys find out why they lie, tell us.
I think 301.81, though I'm uncertain, but I'm leaning 301.81 with a bit of histrionic. What is it? 301.
Yeah. Is that like from the DSM-5 or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Just make shit up. So beliefs in any particular idea are not psychiatric disorders. Nice try though.
I don't think flat earthers have. I mean, I'm actually like push back on whoever said it, right? But I think the flat earthers obviously don't have anything. Just between globers, they don't have any sort of mental problem, right? And I've heard like a lot of people say that it's some sort of symptom of schizophrenia and stuff like that, which is bullshit. I think whatever drives a flat earther towards flat Earth is completely open to every person. Like, let's say it is like they're the ones being controlled or whatever, like into thinking this sort of bullshit. It could happen to anyone. Like, anyone is basically a flat earther, so they don't have any sort of special mental illness that we wouldn't have anyway.
Or predisposition, perhaps.
Yeah, well, like, look, you probably held a belief before, right? Which was absurd, but you were convinced by it. So, you know.
And those are the types of people that come to terms with that type of thing. One of their coping mechanisms is to go out. A lot of theists that become atheists like to go out and argue, new atheism shit on the internet, right?
It's possible for anyone to have this sort of like flat earthers think it's all of us. I'm sure they don't think we're all schizophrenic and crazy. I'm sure they don't think we're all stupid either. So and vice versa, I think that they're not all stupid, they're not all crazy, and they're not all schizophrenic, right? The truth is that whatever is causing either side to be duped somehow, which one side is definitely being duped one way or another, that capacity is available to happen to anyone, even the most sensible person.
That's why when a person holds a belief, whenever I hold a belief, I like to think of the accompanying emotional aspects to holding it. And I like to take account of any of those emotional needs to hold a particular belief when I hold it, right?
You know that everything you're saying is just your subjective bullshit and says more about your psychology than anything else. You realize that, right? That you have no self-awareness. That you telling us how you like to think about other people and what they think is telling us what you think. You people, man, like something, dude, is wrong with y'all.
Although
so like we got plenty of nutballs. Goldberg has plenty of nutballs. People think all sorts of stupid things. There's probably people right now on the internet arguing about fucking Graham Hancock and the fucking Sphinx and Göbekli Tepe and fucking monoliths and fucking ley lines and all sorts of shit, right? There's people arguing about fucking black holes and fucking Einstein-Rosen bridges and all sorts of bullshit. But for some reason, this guy thinks that, hey, flat Earth's ridiculous. When what we're saying is, all you ever do is observe that Earth is flat and motionless, and maybe that's the way it is. But we're somehow delusional. But you believe in black holes and big bangs and fucking monkey people and there's something from fucking nothing.
Directed at me.
Universe expanding into just people in the modern cosmology that you think ostensibly I think you believe in, right? You believe in the whole modern cosmological story, right? Big Bang, evolution, black holes, dark matter, dark energy.
I don't know about dark matter and dark energy though. For the most part,
okay. So how are any of those things on any more of a solid foundation than, hey, the Earth might be what it looks like? I might be able to just believe my own eyes, and that's what it is. That's ridiculous. But black holes is fucking not ridiculous.
Indio,
I don't understand with you guys. I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Like what you guys believe in is that it's so fantastical and so conceptual with so little empirical shit, dude. It blows my mind, dude. And that you guys have the gall to call us like they're implied that we're delusional or that we have some fantastic ideas and just some other fucking weird motivation going on. No, we just go outside. It is what it is. What's fucking hard about that? But that's ridiculous for some reason. Yeah, there ain't no fucking secret knowledge. Nobody's hiding the flat Earth. It can't be hidden. Some people, you saw the Earth was flat. Some other people came along and said, that's not really flat. That's an optical illusion. It's really a giant ball. You were like, okay. That's literally what happened.
Get in there, Flatsy. Go on.
That's a big ball. Okay. Okay, Daddy. Okay, Mommy, it's a big ball because the teacher said so. There's a globe in the corner. It's a big ball. I saw a TV show. This dude's floating around. It's a big ball. That's what you guys are doing. Like, and you have no self-awareness about the fact.
Or when you get high or on mushrooms and you talk about the fabric of space-time like you just figured it out when all you did was do drugs.
Yeah, it's fucking deep, man. We're just crazy star, man. That's so deep. There's no external world. We're stardust, dude. It's inside of us, man.
Exactly. It's silly.
Do these guys think that flat Earth is a belief? Is that their issue?
Yes.
They are implying it. They didn't explicitly say it. I'll give them credit.
Look, can I ask them directly? Do you think flat Earth is a belief, you guys?
I would say it's as much of a belief as believing in the globe.
It's a loss of a belief. That's what flat Earth is.
The claim. The claim.
If you're working with me on site and you ask me to measure up a 2 meter length of duct, and I cut that duct and I hand it up to you, and you measure it as 2 meters, do you believe that duct is 2 meters, or do you know it's 2 meters?
Both. I would say those are not exclusive concepts.
So you're saying that you both believe and know?
To any degree that somebody can know something, yes.
Do you believe that flat earthers both believe and know that the Earth is flat?
People would say they know because they have reasonable belief in their minds, right? In the same way that a globe would say globe.
But with that bit of duct, what part is the knowing part?
I guess, are you talking about subjective knowing, or are you talking about objective truth? Because
no,
I don't know.
We're talking about you asked me to measure something and cut it, and I hand it to you, and you check the measurement. Is which part of you knowing that duct is 2 meters? Is which part is the belief and which part is the knowing?
I would have reasonable belief to know because I measured it, but we can never truly know because there could be anything that happens to the piece of thing, like maybe the temperature changed and it grew a millimeter. Like
you measured it. You measured it, yeah.
I know, and then it changed or whatever. My point is, you could to the extent that you can know something that
if it changed, you wouldn't be measuring it 2 meters, would you? It would be something different than 2 meters.
If you measured it 2 meters and it changed, and then I measured it as 2 something else, where's the knowledge?
Yeah, so what you're saying is that at some point when I cut something, it changed. If I handed it to you and you checked the measurement and it was exactly what you asked me to cut and you checked the measurement, so do you know that measurement is correct, or do you believe that measurement is correct?
Belief to say that I know, yes. But I wouldn't ever, about nearly anything in life, say that there is like an objective truth that you could know.
Except if I measure something and cut it, hand it to you and you check the measurement.
Like, for example, dude, I could come up with 1,000 reasons why I could be wrong. Maybe my measurement device is wrong.
We're using the same measuring device, both of us together. You hand me measuring tape. I measured 2 meters.
Maybe I misread the fucking number.
That's why we both double check. So
I'm just coming up with random things off the top of my head, and there is an infinite number of these things. There's not a finite set of these things. There's an infinite set.
This is very, very. I don't know why you're going off on a tangent. Maybe too many psychological studies. We're talking about just a basic thing here. We measure something, we cut it, we double check the measurement together. Do we know or do we believe that particular thing that we cut is the distance that you asked me to cut it?
I would say we have a very damn good, reasonable belief or to say that we know. Yes. Is that not an acceptable answer to you?
No, so if you're going to build belief and knowing is two separate things. You can't have a really high assurance of some kind of belief which alludes to a knowing. You either know that it's 2 meters or it's not 2 meters. So we just measured it, we cut it, we checked it together. I measured 2 meters, you measured 2 meters. You give me the thumbs up.
Yep.
You're just about to put this thing that we measured into some kind of a building. If you don't really know that it's 2 meters,
I would be comfortable saying no. Yeah, sure. In that context, I would be.
Right. So flat earthers measure the Earth flat. We know it's flat.
Yeah. The problem is we're in one of those situations where other people saying they measured it to not be flat, and there's a disagreement about the measurement.
How do you measure not flat?
So you had handed me the thing, and I measured it differently.
Okay, so how do you measure not flat?
I mean, well, you guys straight up disregard lots of evidence of it measured.
No, I'm not talking about evidence. I'm talking about how do you measure not flat?
Well, like one way that I've done it, that I've already mentioned earlier in this call, was measure the curvature of high altitude balloon footage.
So you're saying that you have a camera device on a balloon, and you measured the curvature from that camera?
Yes. It was not my camera, but I have sourced this from many cameras. And each time, I've also modeled the predicted curve of what it should be, and it aligns every time.
Okay. So if we're going to measure from a image device, which is transposed onto another image device, and then using a particular measuring tool on the image device, would you say that that was more accurate or less accurate than a simple triangulation of an azimuth?
How are you calculating your curvature? Explain it to me.
I'm not calculating curvature.
With the
What I'm saying is we calculate the Earth being flat by angle measurements to celestial bodies and their ground position.
You're going to make the argument when I hear time and time again that you cannot determine anything about the ground you stand on by making observations in the sky?
No, you're not a mind reader.
No.
Just listen to him.
No, I'm genuinely curious.
No, so we are measuring the ground because when we view a celestial object using an almanac, we know where that celestial object's ground position is.
Yeah.
So when we measure the azimuth angle, that is two straight lines meeting at a vertex, we have a horizontal plane from our vertex position to the vertex position of the ground position of the celestial object. We determine the angle of elevation based upon the horizontal line. You cannot do that if the horizontal line or the adjacent is curved.
Right. So if I understand,
not only do we do that, not only do we do that once, we do that 3 times in regards to sea navigation. We do that 3 times, and we create 3 circles of equal elevation, and we create 3 rectangular boxes back to our position. That is 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees back to our position. That's 3 times. That's a lot of flat. And that gives us our prime position within meters on any map system. And that's how we know that the Earth is flat. We don't believe it. It's just measured that way.
I'm a little, slow at grasping exactly what you are saying. Is there something I could read or visuals that you can provide
Celestial navigation.
Of a specific observation I'm talking about?
Oh, there's many. It's how the latitude and longitude lines.
Sure. I just want to. The reason why I'm asking is because I don't fully grasp what the argument is, but what I think I'm hearing, I've also
the simplest one is Polaris. So if I take my azimuth to Polaris or my angle measurement to Polaris, that dictates my latitude.
That's right.
So as I move further away from Polaris, the angle of Polaris gets lower, so therefore my latitude increases. Now, each degree of latitude is 60 nautical miles, so we get up to 3959 nautical miles. All right, so I'm at one point, and I'm measuring Polaris to its 0 azimuth, 3959. Now, let's say someone is standing on the plane directly opposite me, 180 degrees. They're also measuring Polaris's azimuth at 0 degrees, at 3959. That's a whole lot of flat there.
Wait, so let me see if I understand. I followed you up until the last part. So you are looking up at Polaris, and you have somebody standing to your right or to your left also looking at Polaris?
No. Someone's standing directly 180 degrees, so someone's facing me.
Someone facing you, and how are they measuring Polaris?
On the other side of Polaris. So if you take Polaris' position as the center, and someone's standing directly opposite me at their 0 degrees, and I'm at my 0 degrees, that's 2 lots of 3959 nautical miles. Now, the reason why we know it's flat is because if it was curved, we would have to draw 2 tangent lines from each of the observers to Polaris, and both ground positions wouldn't meet.
Well, of course, because they'd be. I mean, the star is so freaking far away that the angle would be so minute that would be indiscernible.
No, the ground position of the star is inconsequential to its height.
The ground position.
Yeah, it has no bearing on the height of the star whatsoever. They're all treated like they're the same distance away and a parallel plane to the plane of the horizon.
I just don't see where this disagrees with the globe, because I can draw the same picture on a globe and it works just fine.
2 parallel planes, the sky being the one plane and the surface being the other, the plane of the horizon being the other. You don't think that that's a problem in the globe?
Unless I'm visualizing it wrong in my head, which, again, I would do great with pictures here. I'm a very visual guy. I could draw a picture of what I think I'm hearing you guys say.
So what you need to do is, if you're on a globe, is the ground falls away from you at a certain distance.
Yeah.
So we can't use an angle measurement. We can't use a curved adjacent. We must draw a tangent from our feet pointing out towards Polaris.
Yeah.
Now the other guy that's 180 degrees away from me, facing me, looking at Polaris, he has to draw the tangent pointing away from his feet as well.
Yep.
Now we need the ground position of the celestial bodies, in this case Polaris. Right, we need that ground position to draw what's called a celestial box or celestial rectangle. That is
It's called
so.
a
That is a
cosmic
straight.
rectangle. But yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that is a straight line from my feet to the ground position of Polaris, up to Polaris to its circle of equal altitude, back to the vertex on top of my head, and down again.
Okay.
And the other gentleman has to do that. Now, if you were to draw tangents on a curve, the ground position of Polaris will never match. It'll be some other different place. It won't be the azimuth angle. That's why we know it's flat, because we use angle measurements to measure the Earth. And it's been done like that forever.
Yeah. I mean, the star that you're measuring is Polaris, is so much larger than the Earth that if you were to draw a tangent line from a globe from your feet, a tangent line from your feet on one side of the globe and a tangent line from the other side of the globe towards Polaris, they would be parallel lines and still intersect with the star. So those two parallel lines, obviously by nature of being parallel, would never meet. But they would intersect with the star.
Listen, you're not listening to what we're saying. We're talking about the star's ground position, not the star.
No, I understand.
The azimuth angle is taken from the visual perspective to the star, but the actual measurement is taken from the ground position of that celestial body.
Yeah, I understand the ground position on a flat Earth model, but what I'm trying to say is that on the globe model, the ground position would encompass the entire Earth. It's larger than the Earth.
No, there's only one spot where you're standing directly under a celestial object. That's called the GP, ground position.
Okay, well, let's
only one
see if I can do a thought
He's
exercise.
using the celestial. You're talking about the celestial sphere, where the Earth is a point, because you're only using like angles to the center of the Earth. It's as a point. So you're telling us by what you're implying by saying such a thing is that the Earth is a point and not the location that you're measuring from. You are measuring from the surface of the Earth with these instruments, like a sextant. A Mariner sextant. You're using the surface of the Earth. You're not using the Earth as a point.
I agree. I'm using the surface of the Earth, not the Earth as a point. If you think that I'm trying
what
to,
you're talking about would have to use Earth as a point.
No,
yes, but
it's not.
yes, the center.
Well, if I could post an image, I'd show you what I mean. But as a thought exercise, again, put your head in the mindset of a glober for a second. And would you not agree that Polaris is bigger than the Earth according to the globe?
Yeah, okay, but that's basically.
Okay, hold on. Let me walk through this whole train of thought. Okay,
I know. I already know your position. I've already.
Well, it doesn't seem like it, because somewhere along the line, either I don't understand what you guys are saying, or you guys don't understand what I'm saying, and I'm trying really hard to figure out which is which. Okay, but anyway, if Polaris is bigger than the Earth, then imagine you just brought it close to the Earth. You know, really, really close. It's like right next to it. Instead of being light years away, it's right next to the Earth. Where is the ground position?
That's what we do. That's what we do when we do the ground positions.
I'm just now telling you. I mean, honestly, you're using the celestial sphere, which means you're only using the sky and the way that we perceive the sky. And it is modeled to where you can utilize it as a means of traveling the surface. But the measurements from that come from flat Earth measurements where they're utilizing the surface of the Earth, not the Earth as a point like you would have to do. The Earth would have to move in around that point for you to find a ground position of a star. So it's like... you're already presupposing the Earth is a sphere to begin with, and you're not doing that in real life with a Mariner sextant on the sea. You're not doing that.
I agree. I am presupposing but that's my point. My point is that it doesn't disagree with the observations or the prediction that a globe would make. So, and that's what would be useful to me is if there is. You're saying we know the Earth is flat because this observation would disagree with the globe, but I'm not seeing the disagreement.
Yeah, but it's supposed to ad hoc. Your explanation of how it could work with a globe presupposes the globe in the first place.
It's really weird. We are trying to argue against two different models. You have two presupposed models. You have the flat presupposed, you have the globe presupposed. And you're saying,
Stop, Dan. Yeah. You're affirming the consequent, mate. You're supposed to be using this to prove the globe. I'm
not making the claim to prove. It was him. He said, this proves the flat Earth. I'm not making any claim here.
So why are you talking about your globe model to compare it to your globe model?
Yes, because he's contrasting it to a globe model.
Consequent.
That's not affirming the consequent. I'm trying to
So, okay, then how do you know you've got a globe in the first place?
I'm trying to apply it. He's saying it disagrees with the globe. So I'm trying to apply it to the globe and see if it disagrees. That's all. I'm just trying to verify his claim.
No, so look, let's speed it up a bit because, sometimes we just playing games like this. And so your globe is based upon angle measurements to Polaris to create latitude. And it's also based upon solar noon to create lines of longitude. You put those both together, you blow it up, and you have your globe. But all the measurements are angle measurements. Angle measurements can only take place with two straight lines, not tangents, two straight lines.
It is a straight line.
I'm nearly finished. If you have a tangent, right, that means that underneath the tangent, there's a deviation from the tangent, which is your Earth's surface, the globe surface. If you were to draw a vertex from the point of the celestial body to its ground position, it will not meet the tangent. It will meet the tangent, but it won't match up with the curved surface of the Earth.
Yeah, that is a nonsense. Yeah, you're right. It's nonsensical on the globe, but it doesn't disagree with the globe.
Yeah, no worries. Now that we've got that out the way, now as an engineer that's been involved with communications for many, many years, you had a question about communications? I'm happy to answer.
What? I don't have any questions about communications.
One of you was talking previously about communications. If it wasn't you, sorry. I'm wrong, but anyway.
I think it's you need two straight lines for an angle, but the elevation angle measurements that you're taking with a Mariner sextant is a right angle triangle, where the right angle is opposite from you. You're the observer. You've got the...
I don't know. I think we're just going to go in circles on this. But one other thought about the Polaris thing that's interesting to me from a flat Earth perspective is that you can do it from two. The hypothetical you guys gave, which is somebody that's at the equator, two people that are at the equator on opposite sides of the Earth, looking at Polaris. You're right that those would have the same azimuth angle and so on. But what gets more interesting is if you have a third observation or three observations at different latitudes. At that point, you cannot calculate a ground position. They would all disagree with each other. They intersect at different points. And the only one that makes sense is when they're all parallel on the globe model.
No, it's because it's observer dependent.
Well, that's just weird. That's just magic voodoo you guys invented.
No, that's what the celestial sphere is even based off of. It's based off of you being the center, you being the point.
You would say it's the celestial, but why? How does it operate that way? You're just invoking, this is just how it works. At least the globe model provides a mechanism for why that works.
Why do you don't need a why. You just need to know how it's done from the source.
Well, and by the way, I think you were the one earlier that said that, knowing why or getting to the bottom of truth is not your thing. That's fair. But
what I said.
Oh, sorry. If I'm misrepresenting you, please correct me.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I'm not saying anything like that. I love innovation and having new. I'm a songwriter. I play guitar and I sing, so I love inspiration and coming up with new things myself. But I'm not going to go into speculation land and make claims that I can't back up. And neither am I going to accept somebody claiming something without some extraordinary claim, without the extraordinary evidence to go along with it. Because if it can be presented without sufficient evidence, it can be dismissed the same.
Sure. But weren't you the person earlier when we were talking about Antarctica, and I said, well, isn't it useful to know that the Earth, because it tells you more, and then you can find out, and you said, well, we don't need to know more. It's just flat. Isn't that?
No. I didn't say that. See, this is a very big misrepresentation of what I was saying. No, the direction that some people are going, which is wrong, it would be considered a wrong direction to go, is to make claims that you can't back up. And that goes for the globe Earth side too.
Sure,
I mean, if you're going to come in here and you're going to die on the hill of globe, and you can't even give us sufficient evidence for anything that you're claiming, I mean, how are we supposed to go on with the conversation? You act like it's our fault, but we're keeping you held to a standard.
Okay, well, I'm sorry for misrepresenting you. I must have gotten a completely different thing out of it.
It's fine. But I was saying that the direction that we went is going back and honing and becoming strong in the fundamentals of how to actually process information and disseminate it. So if you're going to be over here on the flat Earth side, you've got a lot of work to do. It's not just some walking. You're going to sound like an idiot if you talk on the VC.
I've been here for 6 years. I understand.
So most of the time, I can't even listen in because of the flat earthers. Not even the globe earthers. They're not the ones making me mad. It's the flat earthers talking, and they're talking a bunch of smack that they can't back up, or they result to logical fallacies themselves. And I'm like, how have you not gone and honed the skill of being able to spot logical fallacies and also the cognitive biases and spot all of these things and be able to also self-reflect on yourself? Like, you need to be able to reflect on yourself and see these flaws in your own character and hopefully correct them, because that's just the way that you should. This is the problem. People don't know how to process information anymore. They just take the authorities and they don't think that they think that, flat earthers are telling you you've got to research everything before you. No, when you're presented with a claim in your life, you'll be able to identify if it's something like valid or if it's invalid on the spot. You don't have to just go, you can just learn the fundamentals and be able to do this on your own. And most people don't do that.
Yeah, for sure. I likewise. I also get really frustrated with a lot of globe debaters, and how they approach things. So I share your sentiment. I try to be as honest as I can be and just try to seek understanding. But the point that I was originally going to make is about the what I was saying about the celestial sphere, right? It's like, yes, you can call some concept like a celestial sphere, but unless I will always prefer a model that predicts something that has good justification for it over a model that has no justification for it, even if they purport to say the exact same thing. It's the way it works. That's how the celestial sphere works. Okay, but that's not. It doesn't carry weight for me if we have another version that gives you a perfectly reasonable reason, whatever. It gives you a perfect reason why that is the case.
Yeah, but you've got to consider the source information. This is something else that people don't know. And you guys were kind of touching on it when you were talking about how people use ChatGPT or something like that to come in here and talk about the subject. Yeah, so people don't know how to research things. They don't know how to find source information, like primary source information for anything at all whatsoever. They don't have, then they have a bias. When they go into researching, they always use confirmation bias. So when you have something that's presented to you that seems sufficient enough as an explanation for what's going on, yeah, but where is the source that came from? And why was it proposed? And is it back engineered from what we actually experience in reality, or is it something legitimate? You need to find some sort of source for the information, and don't just take it on faith.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's why I loved the Antarctic thing, and I find it strange that people are so dismissive of it. That aids towards what you're saying. It's a direct source that can give us some information, useful information, one way or the other.
I'll say that it's very interesting that I'm a ball buster over on the FED server, and it's interesting the footage that we got from that whole thing. I'm loving that we're going through it, and they have my point of view because I have a very nuanced point of view, and like the whole green screen thing, I dismissed that because it's a filter. So I don't think there's anything to look into. So people forget about the green screen.
Dan,
thing.
can you tell us? Wait, 1 second, Dan. Can you tell us why? Dan, can you tell us why the sun was moving anti-clockwise in Antarctica?
Sure. And see, that was crazy. Like we were talking about that on the last Ballbusters because Betty was there with us, and it was really fun. So you guys should go check out that episode of Quantum Erasers or QE Live, the last one that we did Tuesday.
So Dan, do you know why the sun was moving counterclockwise in Antarctica, contrary to the globe model? Why was that, Dan?
Well, because it's not contrary to the globe model. That's exactly what you expect on the globe model.
So in the globe model, the sun moves anti-clockwise everywhere on Earth, yeah? In the globe model, you're saying, yeah?
No, in the northern hemisphere, it would be appearing to move clockwise, in the southern, anti-clockwise.
In the northern hemisphere, it appears to move anti-clockwise, east to west.
In
the Antarctica, it also moves east to west. So how do you explain
east to west would be anti-clockwise, north, yes.
So how would you explain that?
Well, I can show you a video.
Do I have?
But you just said northern hemisphere. You just said just now that northern hemisphere is clockwise, and it's not.
Appears. This is
appears.
It's an apparent thing. So
yeah, it's an apparent thing. That's right.
Clockwise.
Yeah, it goes east to west, so it doesn't matter how it appears. East to west. It goes east to west, so it's anti-clockwise.
Right, but objective directions, you would use the cardinal directions.
Right.
The crazy part about this, the crazy part about this is the elephant in the room is being ignored. The actual pole, what they say, the place they're standing at, the ground, people are not looking at it. And quote from the explorers of the pole, this is a quote: the pole is located on a great plateau more than 9,000 feet above sea level, probably surrounded by a ring of high mountains, although it's preferably still largely unexplored, right? Largely unexplored. The nearest peaks are about 200 miles away, so one sees nothing but a flat plain of snow in all directions. So the South Pole.
So Dan, can you explain why the sun is moving anti-clockwise everywhere we look?
The South Pole is flat.
I'll wait.
Dan, can you tell me why the sun is moving anti-clockwise, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere? Can you answer that?
Why, bro? Why are you asking why?
Maybe nearest the sphere would push flat at Antarctica.
I don't know why these guys are interrupting. I don't know why Dan is silent. I really don't know.
I'm trying to answer. I'm just waiting for people to stop talking.
The ground is not curving. The ground is described as a flat plane, 200 miles across.
Are you hearing us, Jemsy?
Are you hearing that the ground?
Can you let Dan answer, bro?
Totally interrupted a flow here, so if you don't mind.
Can you let Dan answer the question, for God's sake, man?
Anyway, you're stating a premise that I don't believe in. That the apparent, like the observed rotation from the northern hemisphere, like in the north, near the North Pole, would be clockwise. and observe the rotation of the ant. And to answer your question about can I demonstrate why? Yes, I can, and I can send you a video if you'd like. Can I?
Listening,
you asked me a fucking question. You want me to answer?
You're not listening. You're going the wrong direction. Stop. Wrong. Misunderstood already. So if I go outside now, I'm in Europe now. If I go outside now, the sun will be in the east in the morning. In the evening, the sun will be in the west. That's anti-clockwise, Dan.
That's right. But you're not in a situation where you see it circling around you, right?
In Antarctica, I'm going to have the same thing. I'm going to see the sun in the east in the morning. I'm going to see it in the west in the evening. So how's that, Dan? Explain that.
The further north you go, or the further south you go, the more the northern or southern the rise and set.
If we were on the globe, it should be flipped, shouldn't it? If we were on the globe, wouldn't it be flipped?
Okay, well, I can shortcut this whole conversation. You
answer my question, Dan.
Yes, I'm trying to. If you shut up and I can answer it. God damn, man. Okay, if you want a very visual demonstration about how that's true, I could send you a video that literally during this conversation, I opened up my 3D modeling software, I put a camera on the near the North Pole, and I put a camera near the South Pole, and I set them on a gyroscopic, what do they call them? The ones that track the sun, and I simulate it, and you can see geometrically why this is true. Would you like me to send you this video?
Do you agree or disagree that the sun moves anti-clockwise everywhere on Earth? Do you agree
or disagree? It does from an external perspective, yes. I do agree.
What are you talking about from an external perspective? It either moves east to west or it doesn't move east to west everywhere.
You want to actually see it for yourself.
So why are you avoiding it then? What's the matter with you, dude?
I didn't avoid it. I made a fucking simulation and animation to send you, and you just would rather use words.
Listen very carefully, Dan. Listen very carefully. If the sun moves counterclockwise, just listen. If the sun is moving counterclockwise everywhere, whether it's at the North Pole, Antarctica, Equator, it doesn't matter. If it's moving east to west everywhere, then you can't be on the globe, Dan.
Okay, wait. So if you are, where'd you say you were?
Europe.
Okay, Europe. Is it moving? Like, do you see any sort of rotation, like the anti-clockwise? You don't, from your perspective. You see it rising.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, I do. In the morning, it's in the east. In the evening, it's in the west. That's anti-clockwise.
Yes, that's linear. That's linear, not radial. Right? You're describing one cardinal direction.
No, if I do a time lapse, I'm going to see the sun moving from east to west during the day.
That's a line across the sky in one singular direction, westward.
Yeah, and it's funny how that happens everywhere on Earth.
And so that's the point. That's the difference between the apparent movement of the sun and the actual rotation of the sun. From an external perspective, you're right. The Earth is always rotating counterclockwise. Thus, the sun is going the opposite direction relative to it. But from your perceived location, it will be different. And if you want to know why, I can send you a literal animation I made during this conversation. And you agree?
You guys are both fucking this up. It's if you face north, it'll appear to be counterclockwise. If you face south, it'll appear to be clockwise. And your location doesn't matter for that.
It's moving from east to west.
An animation if you guys want.
It doesn't matter about your position because in the end you have a compass, so that standardizes the position. It's going to go from east to west everywhere.
Here, okay. I'm just going to record this. If somebody wants,
how is that possible? Tell me.
I will show you. Would you rather be shown?
Well, if it's moving from east to west everywhere, that's not possible on a globe, is it?
Would you want to be shown why it's true?
Right. I'm going to need. I don't want any software. I want to see video cameras. I want to see actual.
I mean, this is
I don't need your software to tell me something. I don't need that.
Model of how it would work on a globe, and would you want to know?
Right. That's great. But that's not actual explanation of how it.
Okay. You just want to dismiss it. Okay.
No, I want you to show me actual evidence, actual substantiation, actual data of some kind that you measured or took photographs even. I'll take that.
It's geometry, man. It's just fucking geometry. It's not a tough question.
I know, but according to geometry, you're wrong.
No, and I don't know why you're dodging just looking at the geometry I have. I don't know why you don't want to see it. You've asked me time and time again for this very thing, and you just don't want to see it.
How can someone is upside down in Australia, upside down in relation to me?
How can? Let me show you, for Pete's sake.
Let's stop talking. So if someone's upside down right now in Australia and I'm upside up in Europe, right? When we look at the sun, it's like if he's upside down, he's going to see everything flipped, isn't he?
Yes.
Right. So, but we don't see anything flipped. We see everything the same. So it can't be a globe.
The sunspots, the moon is flipped depending on your observer location.
I'm not talking about the moon. We're not talking about the moon, mate. We're talking about the sun, yeah?
Same thing. The sunspots are going to be.
If the sun is moving anti-clockwise, it can't be a globe. You see that?
Oh my gosh. I don't know why we're having a geometric conversation or argument without us looking at the geometry.
Right, but you're looking at computer software, bro. You're looking at a computer game.
Software that models geometry. You fucking quit.
Right, but it's real life. That's the interesting thing.
Oh my gosh, it is. Do you disagree that we can model geometry in a computer?
I'm suspecting that your model doesn't match real life.
It's 3D. It's a 3D software. It's how we model everything in 3D. I'm in 3D graphics as a profession.
Yeah, you do everything with it, but doesn't match real life, though.
Oh my God! Unless you have a very specific reason why it does not align with the model that you're trying to argue against, then this is a stupid conversation.
I'm just suspicious that your model doesn't match real life. So how do we check if it matches real life?
I just modeled exactly what the globe would say it should be, and then when I rotate the fucking Earth, it does exactly what I'm saying it does.
Is there any way we can check? Is there any way we can check your model against real life to see if it comports? Is there any way we can do that? Or should I just trust your model?
Look at this animation, say, hey, look, it's moving clockwise in the northern hemisphere, it's anti-clockwise in the southern. Let's see if it purports to actual observations. Okay, let's look at a time lapse of the sun that somebody put it on YouTube from the northern hemisphere. Let's look at a time lapse of the sun from the southern hemisphere, and guess what? It's gonna align.
You know, you're getting everything all screwed up here.
But if the sun is moving anti-clockwise everywhere, then it means it can't be a globe.
Oh my God.
It's just counterclockwise or clockwise, depending which way you're facing. It's got nothing to do with hemispheres.
No, it does.
Yes, it doesn't. And the claim, anyway, you got the claim wrong. You just said counterclockwise from the southern hemisphere. That's not even what Professor Dave put out there, which is what everybody parrots for this. He said clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Well, they just did a time lapse of the sun going across the screen from right to left. And that's what it's supposed to do in the so-called northern hemisphere, according to these guys. Because all along, it's just been a matter of which way the observer is facing.
Exactly. And we standardize that with a compass.
How can that be the case when you're standing in the center of where it's circling?
That's how it's the case. You're facing north.
You're in the center of where it's circling.
You're facing north.
How'd you?
Yeah, you're facing north, and it doesn't matter where you do that from. The sky's going to appear to have counterclockwise motion facing north. Doesn't matter where you do it from.
You got a big problem, Dan.
Some kind of thing here. You guys have trouble visualizing this in 3D.
No, you're just an idiot who has trouble visualizing turning around.
It's really funny because a minute ago, this guy was telling Flatsy, he was telling her, oh yeah, man, I don't like on the globe side, man, people are disingenuous, man, you got to be honest, man. And then now he's being dishonest. Look, the very thing
I'm being disingenuous when I literally did work to try to answer your specific question, and instead of accepting the work that I did to see it visually, you just keep on deflecting, and I don't know why.
Did you do work to answer his question, or did you do work to reify your own consequent?
No, what I did is like, hey, I wonder, here's literally the thought process in my head as it happened, because this happened a while ago, when somebody made the claim, oh, you know what, in the north, it rotates the same way both ways. Like, wait, would it? I actually don't know. I couldn't quite picture it in my head.
It's not a race. It's 24/7 flat Earth, not 24-second flat Earth.
What is that even supposed to mean?
Slow down. It's not a horse race.
Oh, okay.
We're not going anywhere.
I'll slow down for you. Okay. So I thought, okay, let me try it. I'm just going to build the globe the way that they say the globe is. I'm going to put a camera where the camera should be for the the northern winter and the southern winter, and I'm just going to rotate the goddamn thing and see if the apparent rotation is different or not. I had no predisposition about which way it should be because I didn't know.
So why did you build a ball then? If you had no anything about it, you would have walked outside and went, "Oh fuck, I see it as flat." You would have.
I don't live in a place where I can observe the 24-hour sun.
See if that's what happens.
Well, wait. So did you record the sun? Is that what you're saying?
I modeled the sun. I modeled the Earth where the globe model says it should be.
Okay, but
does your model comport with reality? How can we check if it does?
I'd like to know how you guys sit there and claim that the direction you're facing affects if what you're looking at is rotating clockwise or counterclockwise.
Because it's going to appear to be going from your right to your left, or your left to your right, depending on which way. Who's talking?
Under a disco ball.
Shut up.
The disco ball is spinning.
Shut your mouth. I'm answering you. Because it's going to appear to be going from your right to your left, or your left to your right, depending which way you stand. You should know that, right? You turn around, left is going to switch with right, right?
Barry.
Oh, he's been going the whole time, huh? You don't want answers, you just want to go off. Okay. Well, you can just sit on mute then.
Your number.
The problem with that, and you're right, if you're at the equator and you look south, then you're right. The sun is going to rise to your left and set to your right, and vice versa, whatever it is.
Where are you when you do this? You said where?
The problem with doing it,
where are you when you're seeing that?
I just said on the equator.
Okay. Well, it depends where you are with respect to the sun's latitude.
Whatever. I specifically gave you a latitude, right? So where's
the sun at that time? What's the sun's latitude?
You're missing. I'm trying to make a point that you're hanging on something that I'm not trying to make.
No, because if it's the June solstice or towards that time of year.
Okay, let's say equinox. Okay, let's just say equinox.
Okay, then it's going to be overhead. But if it's depending on what tropic it's at, you're either going to have to face north or south to see it, and that is what's going to determine whether it goes from left to right or right to left.
Sure.
East to west. Why can't you guys just use compass points? East to west.
If you say east to west, it will always be east to west when you're at the equator.
It's always going the same way. The relative directions change depending which way the observer is.
But yeah, left to right will be inverse depending on which you look. But the problem that lies, and the point that I'm trying to make, is that when you are
on a globe, that's only the case on the globe, Dan.
No, it's not. You're completely a moron, HyroPro. Just be quiet.
When you're at the pole, in fact, you can see this in the time lapses that they did. They're rotating every single direction. They're not facing south or north. They're facing every single direction. And so the whole notion of relative direction is meaningless.
No, Dan, do they have a compass down there? Dan, do they have a compass down there?
Yes, and they're rotating.
Oh, wait. So they can find north and south, right?
Oh my god.
Can they find north and south? Yes or no?
Every direction is north from the South Pole.
So you're talking about the time lapses that they just did, the Dave McKeegan thing of the sun?
Yeah, or the one
across the screen, bro.
Hemisphere.
Dude, the claim has always been from Globers clockwise in the southern hemisphere. That's what they've thought has been going on for years. Clockwise.
I don't know about that claim.
That's what they've said for years. Clockwise. Okay. That video that Dave McKeegan just put out, the time lapse of the sun, he's facing north to see the sun because you have to from down there, obviously. It's going from right to left, the exact opposite of what they've said all this time. In the southern hemisphere, goes clockwise.
Did you say that they're facing north to see the sun? No, they face every direction. It circles them.
Yeah, facing away from the south.
Oh my God!
They were facing south. I think they were facing south.
Okay, you're retarded. I'm thinking.
How could they be facing south to see the sun?
These guys are still thinking compass points work on a 3D globe model. They still think it's possible to have compass points in a 3D system like that. You can't. You can only have it when there's a plane below you. Then compass points work. You idiots.
I don't even know what's being argued anymore.
You don't understand the compass points disprove what you're saying here. The compass points show there's east to west everywhere. So no one flipped upside down in Australia to see it differently. They all see it the same. So it's not a globe, is it?
What I'm saying is that the compass direction of the sun does a full 360 when in places where you can see the 24-hour sun.
Yeah. Yeah,
always moving east to west.
That's true. Yeah.
It's always moving east to west, and you're coping.
No. It goes when you see 24-hour sun. The definition of seeing 24-hour sun is that you point a compass at it, and it goes a 360 degree across all of the cardinal directions.
West, yeah, anti-clockwise, east to west. Yes. And you're too stupid to understand that means it's not a globe because Europe has the same. If I go out now in Europe, in my garden now, I'm gonna see it go east to west too.
When something is circling above your head.
Think about
how do you both directions are east to west when something is circling above your head. How do you get from east to west? You can go either direction and get there.
Yeah, when something is above your head, it's not the ground.
The reason you can't understand this, bro, is because you're still imagining everything to be on a globe, and that's why your head is getting screwed up. Imagine you're on a plane. Imagine there's a North Pole. Imagine there's a ring, a southern Antarctica ring around that North Pole. Then everything makes sense. But you can't imagine it that way for some reason. You're blocked.
Or here's
you're right. The whole point of what I'm trying to argue is you're saying it can't work on a globe. So yes, I am thinking about the globe when I'm making this argument.
But it doesn't work on a globe. It's impossible on the globe.
You say it's impossible, yet I demonstrate that it's possible. You just don't want to see it, and so I don't know what to tell you.
You just have some computer graphics. That's all.
Yes, computer graphics that use geometry. Unless you want to argue with me that geometry is just wrong, just period.
Does your model comport with reality? If so, show how it comports with reality.
Yes, you line it up with what we see in footage.
Show me now all the real life data that you've obtained to show that comports with reality.
24-hour from the northern hemisphere. Take a time lapse of the 24 from the southern hemisphere, and that lines up.
Moving east to west. Yeah, but it's moving east to west, so it proves I'm right then.
Oh my God. Okay. So the time lapse that just happened in Antarctica. How do you know it's not moving east? How do you know it's moving east to west?
Well, don't you have a compass? Can't you work it out? No.
You are rotating on your compass, but how do you know you're going east to west? Is nonsensical when you're following something that's
rotating on my compass.
It makes sense, compass-wise, to say anything about something that's circling around you is to say if it's moving clockwise or anti-clockwise. The notion of saying east to west is a nonsensical notion when something's circling around you.
But if it's moving the same direction in all places, there's no one who's upside down, dude. Simple.
Okay, can you visualize something for me, Dan?
I would love to. Can somebody share what I actually did?
It's going to be really quick. It's going to be really quick. Imagine like you have one of those bar weights with the dumbbells on the ends.
Uh-huh.
Okay, think about it being light, and you don't have. It's not a struggle to hold it. Okay, and you rotate it in one direction. Say that you start rotating it away from you, and if you look at the dumbbell on your right, it would be rotating anti-clockwise. The one on your left would be rotating clockwise. If you can visualize this, right? So
before you can move on, I just want to make sure I'm visualizing it correctly. You are holding a dumbbell in front of you.
I don't know if I'm using the right terminology for the exercise equipment, but if you're holding a bar with the weights on each end, they're circular, and you're spinning away from you. If you look to your right, you would be looking at one side going anti-clockwise, but the one on your left would be going clockwise from your perspective, right?
From my perspective, they're both rotating away from me, so I don't
exactly know. But if you look at one of the weights to your right, when you look
so if I move my perspective to be at one end,
right? Okay, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's still all spinning in one direction. But if you look to your right, in your perspective, you see one going anti-clockwise and then the one on your left would be going clockwise, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can use that kind of visual to understand what's going on in the sky. It's all going in one direction.
I don't disagree with anything that you just said, and that's all true. I do agree that there is an objective rotation, but also, just like what you said, there is a perceived rotation, clockwise versus anti-clockwise, depending on which direction you're looking at it.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know where that's fine.
If it's circling around you, it's either going left to right or right to left. It's circling around you. Like, what the hell?
Right to left. Now you're going back to the confusing thing. Right to left does not make any sense when something's circling around you. God damn it, man. Imagine there's literally a fly rotating around your head. Let's say it's moving clockwise. Is it going right to left? Or is it going is it going
let's say 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock is right to left.
And an increment of change occurs. Is it moving to the left or the right? It's that simple.
1 second, Dan. Why are you
3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock is right to left. And so then the rest is obviously left to right. So then that's called counterclockwise.
Wait, Dan. Why are you pretending you can't find north on some point of the Earth?
What's the point here?
Yeah, there isn't really a point. Like,
let me ask you a question, Dan. Dan, why do you think that on some parts of the Earth you can't find true north? Why are you saying that?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying here, I'll extend my hypothetical. Imagine you are facing north, okay, and there is a fly rotating around your head.
No, that's a false equivalence. Sorry, that's a false equivalence because in your paradigm, it's the Earth that's rotating, not the fly.
The Earth.
Exactly. Good point.
You guys get caught on. It's inconsequential to the point that I'm actually making.
No, it's not inconsequential. The fly is not rotating. It's you that's rotating. That's your model.
Okay, so you're on a swivel chair and there's a fly hovering in front of you.
It doesn't make sense because now you're changing the direction. Okay. I'm saying.
Yeah. Now we're talking because
the
if the sun
rotating, it makes it a difficult analogy because on the Earth, yes, the Earth that you're standing on is rotating, but your reference to north is rotating with you.
That doesn't make sense.
And which way does the Earth rotate, son? Which way does the Earth rotate?
That's nonsense.
Counterclockwise.
Use cardinal directions. Which way does the Earth rotate?
Clockwise?
My God damn! What? Yes, the Earth rotates counterclockwise. If you want to say which direction the sun rises and sets, it's from east to west.
So which way does it go?
Ours would be spinning west to east, right?
Wait a minute. How do you know? Dan, how do you know the Earth is rotating anti-clockwise? How do you know that? Wait. Watch this. Watch how he hangs himself. Dan, how do you know the Earth is rotating anti-clockwise? How do you know that?
I'm just going off of the model right now. We're arguing models.
Nonsense.
Why do you think it's rotating anti-clockwise? Maybe it's rotating clockwise. How would you know the difference?
It depends on your observer. Like if you look at it from the South Pole, then it would be the other way.
All right, so the Earth rotates in a different direction depending upon which spot you're on. If
you want to give it a cardinal direction, it's rotating east. Okay.
It'd be going from west to east.
Okay.
How would you know that?
Go back to your swivel chair.
Please. Dan, please explain why do you think it's rotating in one direction, not another? If in the northern hemisphere things appear one way, in the southern area they appear another way, well then how do you know which way the Earth's rotating?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Come on. How do you know it's rotating? You said the Earth is rotating anti-clockwise. How would you know that? How would you decipher that?
Like objectively, how would I observe that?
Yeah, well, you're saying it rotates anti-clockwise. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah. If you want to, so first of all, I'm not talking about observations right now. I'm talking about models. But if I were to make an observation, I mean, you could go into space and have a reference point of what is north, and then
wait. So does your model have an objective?
Wait. If you're in space, what do you mean the reference point of north? If I'm in 4 million miles away from the Earth, north.
Hang on, dude. Does your model have an objective up and down? Does your model have an objective up and down?
It's one that we've invented. Yes. As a reference, yes.
So there's a top and a bottom.
Yeah.
There was no direction in space.
What?
Relative to? What's relative to?
Freaking Dan Fessler, dude. I haven't seen Dan Fessler in it's been 4 years.
It's been crazy long, yeah.
Biggie, come back.
Anybody?
Well, anyway, if somebody would like to post a video for me, I would be very appreciative.
I just did. Oh,
no. Sorry. A video that I've recorded.
What's Dan coming? Dan, you coming in there a little bit spicy tonight, man? What's going on?
I didn't start this way, man.
You just start
we had a pretty chill conversation until this one.
Yeah, Grizzly got him fired up.
Yeah, Dan Fessler is an OG of the OG Globers. I mean, he's way back in the day, man.
It's been about 7 years.
He's been pretty chill. He's had some pretty cool convos with Indio tonight.
Yeah, he was back in the day, man. You never we used to deal with Zanuck and all them guys, and Gem Panda and all that when Dan was around. And Dan was always he was a cooler glober back in the day.
He's also one of those globers that claim that nonsense makes sense.
That makes sense. Sure.
That makes sense.
That sounds like me, huh?
That sounds like you've been saying it. The nonsense makes sense.
I don't know what you're referring to.
He's still running
try
with the
something
globe.
really quick here.
Yeah.
Pyro Pro.
Yeah, you saw the sky spinning, and you say that's because the ground is spinning. It's nonsense.
Try something really quick. I just got to ask Pyro Pro a question. Which way do the stars go in the northern hemisphere?
Who are you asking?
What do you mean by go? Do you mean the rotation clockwise or counterclockwise?
Yeah, that.
It looks counterclockwise to me.
Okay, now go to 119 in the video I just posted and tell me if that's clockwise or counterclockwise.
What video?
What's that? Moving stars of the northern hemisphere.
Okay, I'll check it out. Give me a second.
Thank you. I've seen that. Oh, no, I haven't seen that one. Never mind.
Are you guys having a party in here or what?
So, northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Counterclockwise.
It's actually been pretty fun, Miggy. It's a good time to come in.
Jimsy.
Well, 119. Well, anyway, I'll let him do his research. Never mind.
Oh, Jimsy and Heretic.
Yeah, I'm here.
Buy the dip.
I'm going for it.
Get you, just a little some of Pepe. Just say it, man. Just a small little, Anyway.
Hedera.
Yeah, I was just going to come in real quick and just tell you guys on a side note. Yeah, buy the dip.
What, Bitcoin?
Altcoins in general. A few meme coins. But I didn't want to.
Dan, tell me, why do you think the Earth is rotating anti-clockwise?
On the northern hemisphere?
How can the Earth be rotating in two different directions? Dan?
Are you going to ask the same question that I already gave you an answer for that you refused to?
Say we've got a ball spinning like what did they call that? The kids used to play with the ball on the end of this rope with a ball. Anyway, you got a ball spinning, right? This ball's spinning. You're not changing the way it's spinning. It's spinning on an axis. You look underneath it. It spins clockwise. And then if you look at it from above, it's counterclockwise. What's there to comprehend?
What? What are you talking about? The ball is spinning. It's spinning in the same direction in all places. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but see, Hero, you're forgetting something, bro. You're looking at the object, not away from the object. Is that correct or not correct?
Yeah, we're looking at the object.
Yeah. So in the case,
it's handedness.
I know, Hero, but in the case that you presented, you're looking at the object. You're not looking away from it. And then when you're standing on the earth, you're looking away from the object. So you're not looking directly at the object saying the object is moving. You're looking at other things moving and then assuming that the object is moving, if it is one, like the globe you think it is. So like on the one, your analogy doesn't
moving. It's relative to your position.
I know, but that's not the Hero. That wasn't the analogy. Right. That wasn't the analogy you gave us with the globe spinning. You're looking directly at the object spinning.
Right, and in particular from looking at it down on its axis.
Yeah, I know that.
Southern axis.
I get it, but what I'm saying is
northern axis.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I mean, I understand what you're talking about, but you're looking directly at the object moving. The object is moving, in your scenario. Now, when you're standing on the earth, you're looking away from the thing you think is the object. See the problem?
No,
you can just extend it. You can say, yeah, you're looking at the object, but think about if there was another shell that was somehow connected to that ball that you're spinning.
Yeah, we're not assuming. We're not assuming in this case. Like his analogy was not assumptions. No assumptions made. We're looking at a ball on the bottom.
How about
you just analogy? Hey, just not yet. No. I'm gonna keep doing that until you stop talking. So when you're looking at the object and your analogy, you were looking top down at the object spinning. And then you said, well, let me look from underneath the object. And then you saw, well, look, it's spinning in the opposite direction. But you're looking at the object. Now, you need to concede that it's not analogous to being standing on the earth looking away from the thing you think is an object, right? Concede, please. It's not analogous.
Who, me?
The other guy. Are you saying that too, Dan? What his argument?
What if you got trouble that you're looking in at?
I don't mind getting a twofer. Go ahead.
If you're concerned about doing this, that you're looking at an object instead of looking away, then why not just stand on a 6-foot ladder, draw a line, a circle on the ceiling with an arrow on as to how you traced out the circle, right? Right? And then do the same thing standing on the floor in the same direction. And then look at how the two of them are relative to each other.
Yeah, once again, you are looking at something, not the Earth. Now, in this regard, you have to look at the Earth, and then you have to look either at something that is spinning. So something that you're saying that is going to equate to the thing that you think is spinning is going to have to both be shown to be spinning. The Earth is supposed to be shown to be spinning conclusively, and the thing that you're showing is supposed to show as an analogy that it's conclusively spinning. So the first analogy should have been correct, but you didn't have the Earth to be spinning to make the analogy correct.